Hey y'all, welcome to Book Cooking with Kayla. I'm your host Kayla, and today is episode 1 where I will be cooking up a book recommendation just for you. Today's recommendation is designed for those that like a mix of different things. You like comedy, you like heartfelt, tears, you just like a mix, and you also don't necessarily need something in at this particular time, or always something that is just super long. You like little things that you are able to nibble. So at the end, this will be a collection of different stories, but one central theme is hope and just solid good writing. These are just good stories, so stay tuned. The first ingredient that we're going to add, we're going to have 5 ingredients total before we have our finished product to sample. We want to have a croissant, and this croissant we do you can do fresh from the bakery, buttery, flaky, but for today and simplicity, we're going to be doing a deconstructed croissant. Now, I can vouch that this right here is it's not going to make you feel any type of way except satisfied at the end. And this disclaimer, once you see, you get to the book and you're able to read it, you'll know when you know. The next thing we want to add is we want to add this granola. Just give it a bit of crunch, give it some substance. Every now and then it's okay to have just like a fluffy read, but for this, what we're going for today, we want some substance. And the honey also is going to give it specifically the couple stories in mind, or it's going to get that sweet, that wholesome feel. So yes, we're just going to go ahead and add. That should about do it. Now, next we are going to dragon scales. We do want a little bit of dragon scales, aka sprinkles, but we want to add our dragon scales into the mix. Now, please understand that no dragons were harmed in the collection of these scales. Again, when you know, you will know. Beautiful. All right, we have 2 ingredients left for today's recipe. The next one we're going to be adding is we're going to give it a little bit of heat. Now, keep in mind, there are children, though, off camera present, so this is not the spicy that you might have been thinking. No, none of that. This is just for heat. This is just for literal flavor. Again, you'll know when you know. So we're just going to add a little bit, and you know what, we're just gonna dump the entire thing in there. You'll know, you'll taste it. You think it's gonna be too much, but I promise you it is not. All right, our last ingredient for today's book recommendation is we are going to add in some love, and we do want it to be a little bit diluted. We don't want it like in your face. Here's the theme, here's the idea. It's beautifully laced within the narratives in these collection of short stories. But we don't just want one type of love. No, we're going to add a little bit of familial love from a mother to a child to a parent. We're going to add that here in our dilution. We're going to add a little bit of friendship love and some self-love. That's going to come from the same batch. We're going to add that in there. And lastly, our last ingredient that we will be adding is some actual love, some romance, but just a dash. And again, we're going to dilute that in a mix of hope and heartache, tragedy, comedy. Is just real life, real relatable, even with the science fiction and fantasy speculative works. This is really going to be relatable in a sense. So with that diluted mixture, I know it doesn't look too great right now, but trust me, this is going to be extremely appetizing. So now we have our mixture. We have our mixture here for our book. Now what we're going to do, we are going to mix that up. We are going to let it bake at 450 degrees for about an hour, and then we will have our finished product. Now, instead of having to wait here, I actually have the book recommendation for you already ready to go. And that recommendation is Unexpected Encounters of a Draconic Kind and Other Stories by Becca Grimakova. Look at that cover. Isn't it gorgeous? So this is absolutely perfect. If you've stayed here watching the whole episode of Book Cooking with Kayla, thank you. I highly recommend this book. I have read it not once but twice. Get more info in the caption below. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you next episode.